Hi everyone, I'm Natalie Weaves, and I haven't made a lot of videos, but quarantine has given me a lot of time. So I thought that I would talk about something I was passionate besides textiles, which obviously I'm passionate about, but over the last couple years, or last 2 years-ish, I've gotten really into anime. And I think that's a growing trend. There's a lot of people who didn't know about anime in middle school and are finding it now, and I guess I'm one of maybe the lame people ruining it. I feel like there's some people who really don't like that, but I don't think I'm very forward about liking anime, and while I'm becoming quite a bit of a fan, it's pretty exciting to see that there's this growing culture online to talk about these kind of things, and there's so many fandoms like Game of Thrones or The Walking Dead, you know, that are more mainstream, and it's pretty cool to see so much love around animation shows. And one of the shows that I love is Fruits Basket, and it's not new. I'm not saying I'm the first person to ever like it, but I feel the need to talk about it, and I'm excited to talk about it for numerous reasons. So I want to talk about more about the anime than anything, just because there's something about visually seeing something and being really attached to it. Also, I know there's a lot of controversy around subs and dubs, but I really like the voice actors who dub the Fruits Basket English version, and I really feel for those characters, and there's just a lot to love. But in particular, I wanted to talk about Fruits Basket and the way that it's affected me currently, like emotionally and mentally. Kind of it makes me think about my goals for 2021, especially during quarantine. Before quarantine, I was struggling a lot with social anxiety, but I wasn't allowed to close myself off or really do anything about it except for push through, because I was required to go through daily life. You know, there was no like staying in bed, isolating myself, and now it is a government mandate. And I'm not saying I stay in bed, I'm very busy with art projects and stuff like that, making rugs, working on commissions for friends and family. So Fruits Basket came at a really optimal time for me. For one thing, I want to be Toru Honda, which I don't think I'm in the minority of. She's sweet, bubbly, and can persevere through horrible things like no other. And as someone who's gone through quite a bit of depression and anxiety and working through that, and I am so jealous. You know, obviously the show shows in bits and pieces throughout the first 2 seasons and season 3, which I'm very excited for. I'm sure they'll, you know, show that as well, that she does suffer in her own way, and how it's thanks to her friends and basically the family she's created with the Soma family that she's able to, you know, go on with daily life. But in particular, you know, Toru Honda, I want to be her, and it's made me think about how I could actually be her, because looking back at the show, it really points to her mother, Kyoko. It really points to her parenting as the reason why Toru is the way she is. And I really think that's cool, because it makes it seem like she's less of just a character and more of a person, and the reason why she's this way is because of parenting, which is how everyone in the regular world, in the non-anime, digital, whatever, real life world, that's the reason they are the way they are as well, because of our parents. I also think that Toru's kindness is something that really grounds the show and the friendships that she makes. She makes them out of kindness. And with a show like Fruits Basket, which is a pretty weird concept, you know, a family that's possessed by zodiac spirits and turn into animals when touched by the opposite gender, probably wouldn't have come up with that concept, but it's the interactions between her and also the interactions between the people around her, not even including her, you know, between Kyo and Yuki, and you know, those kind of relationships are what grounds the story. Toru's kindness is something I want to possess so badly, and I feel like I currently don't have it. And at 21, it kind of feels like my personality is set. Obviously there's room to grow, but you know, I'm not a kid anymore. This is kind of my adult life. And you know, when I saw there's a scene in the show where there's a storm and Toru helps Yuki save his vegetable garden, and they're trying to keep it from getting washed away in the storm. You know, it's a sweet moment because she's sweet, and he wasn't expecting help because he's used to doing things on his own. And he says that he's not really a kind or special person, and Toru responds that everyone's kindness is different, and that she compares Yuki's kindness to a candle. And I think that's really cool because you're always going to see people who are maybe nicer than you or less nice than you, and it's important to think about that everyone's kindness is different and shows in different ways. But I would like to be more like Toru in terms of kind of blunt kindness, stuff that's out there that maybe is pretty easy to see. And in my own life, maybe I don't do that enough. And that's something I would like to change this year. I'm beginning to think this is kind of just like a New Year's resolution, but fruits basket. But that's definitely one of the things I want to think about, and not being so judgmental. Toru is, when she first meets Kyo, he's slamming through the roof and fighting people, and she doesn't understand why. She's excited to meet him. He yells at her repeatedly and wants nothing to do with her, doesn't want her living there. There's so many big issues there, and Toru just kind of just lets it happen, is super sweet to him. And for me, who I've mentioned suffers with social anxiety, suffers is a strong word, who has social anxiety, the idea that someone would ever snap at me or be angry around me, I initially believed that I am the blame of that, and that I did something, I embarrassed myself, I embarrassed them, and I would just close up and be really scared and never talk to them again, avoid them at all costs, like, oh, I really messed up there. But it's in seeing the story of Kyo and also Yuki and the way that he acts, because, you know, he acts differently. He acts perfect when he's not, and he's dealing with a lot of inner turmoil from his childhood. Both of those people have a lot going on internally, and Toru is able to see that it's not about her. Not everything, not their actions or responses to her are not about her at all. They're suffering in their own ways, and she just wants to be there to help them. And that's something I want to take away as well, that when I interact with people who aren't like me, who are maybe more blunt, maybe aloof. I think I'm pretty aloof probably when people meet me, but if someone's angry or snaps at me, just assume that it's not about me, unless they bring it up. And then in that case, you correct those actions, and that kind of is apparent when Kyo tells Toru he doesn't like something she cooked. She just says, okay, fine, I won't do that again. And I'd love to be able to do that. A message that sticks with me from the show, which is I think it's kind of the theme of this show. This idea of, a lot of people are bullied and can, connect with that. This idea that you're different and that people don't like you because you're different. And in the show, Toru's mom says that it's not important to fit in, to just be you. And it's a pretty easy thing to quote because it's only a few words. But I think I think everyone could use that. Someone telling them to just be you, it's not about other people, which is something I'm going to try and do. I think this also is shown with her interactions, Toru's interactions with Rin. Rin is someone that if I met them in real life, I would not understand that my comments really have no effect on her mentally and emotionally. Obviously, if I said something mean, yes, but if I said hello to her and she yells at me and runs away, fictional character, but there's people like her who are, hurt by other people and are scared to let people in. The fact if she yelled at me and ran away, I would be another example of me being, absolutely mortified, probably embarrassed that, oh, this person dislikes me so much that they screamed at me and ran away. But it's obvious, and I really love the way the second season, I'm not going to get too much into spoilers or anything like that, because I think that part of the fun of the show is watching it and getting to know the characters as you go along. But as they dive into Rin's character, her backstory, but then also showing how she treats the people she loves, it's important to remember that not everyone is gonna act the way you do. And actually, when I was struggling a lot more, I didn't really tell friends and family. I didn't want to let them in to how I was doing. And it makes me rethink, why would anyone else let me in if they're struggling? It's up to me to be there for them and do what I can for them. Okay, last thing that really stuck with me. In the first season, at one point, Toru was at her workplace and she falls down the stairs. And Momiji is there. His dad works in the office, and so he's there trying to catch glimpses of his family. Long story, but you'll have to watch the show to learn more about that. But Toru falls and he giggles at her, and her first reaction is, "Oh, hello there," like, "Hi," and that's so cool to me. May not be cool to you, but my first reaction would be like, "Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. I gotta go. I gotta run out." And if she hadn't said hello there, she wouldn't be nearly as approachable. And like, what's gonna happen if you just fall and someone laughs at you and you go, "Hey, I fell." So that was the last tidbit. Obviously, not everyone struggles with that. Not everyone sees an anime and thinks, "Oh wow, that taught me something." But I think a lot of people do feel that way, and that's why anime is getting so popular. There's a lot of memes online about Evangelion, being for depressed people, and I think that it's important that anime is there for all sorts of people. And while I wouldn't say I'm like an anime fanatic, I haven't seen every anime, and I'm not going to pretend that I have or that I'm an expert. I do really like watching anime, and I really like learning from anime. And I feel like it's taught me a lot about people, because in a fandom so big, there are going to be animes that I really love that people are like, "Yeah, that's great," and I'm going to get something different out of an anime than somebody else's. And I thought it'd be cool to just kind of share my New Year's resolutions from Fruits Basket, but also just talk about some of my favorite moments. And I got tired of annoying my friends and family without it, and I thought it'd be fun to annoy the internet, because why not? So if this made you think about Fruits Basket differently, or maybe you already thought those things, feel free to give this video a like and subscribe. I'm hoping to actually do some more content. I'm hoping to maybe do some more anime content, or just content in general. So here's to doing more videos that I love, and it is currently New Year's Eve, so here's to the 2021 year. Woo! Anyway, everyone stay safe. Be sure to wear your masks unless you're watching this and it's not quarantine anymore. And in that case, I hope we have a good vaccine. I'll see you next time, whenever that is. And maybe I'll have a schedule eventually. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Bye!